The years between World War I and World War II were a crucible for nationalism. Nations that had been shaped by centuries of empire, monarchy, and ethnic identity now faced the challenge of rebuilding amidst devastation, economic hardship, and political uncertainty. These decades reveal both the constructive and destructive power of nationalist ideology, lessons that resonate even in today's global landscape. The First World War redrew the map of Europe. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian Empire collapsed, leaving a patchwork of newly formed states. Poland was reborn, Czechoslovakia emerged, and Yugoslavia sought unity from diverse ethnic groups. Nationalism, once a tool of liberation, became a necessity for political survival. Leaders had to balance the pride of newfound sovereignty with the challenge of unifying diverse populations. Yet the promise of self-determination carried peril. Economic collapse and social unrest in the post-war period created fertile ground for extremist ideologies. In Italy, Benito Mussolini rose to power, fusing nationalism with authoritarianism in a vision of fascism. His rhetoric celebrated the nation, glorified the state, and demonized opposition. Italy's example would soon influence a far larger neighbor, Germany. In Germany, the Treaty of Versailles left a country humiliated, economically crippled, and politically fragmented. Nationalist sentiment became a rallying point for those seeking to restore pride and power. Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party exploited these feelings, combining ethnic nationalism with militarism and anti-Semitic ideology. The result was catastrophic. A nation transformed by propaganda, fear, and a vision of supremacy, ultimately leading to the horrors of World War II. Meanwhile, other nationalist movements focused on recovery and identity without resorting to extremism. Scandinavian countries emphasized cultural revival and social cohesion, while in Ireland, nationalist efforts sought political independence through both diplomacy and rebellion. These examples demonstrate the dual nature of nationalism. It can unify, inspire, and preserve culture, but it can also divide, dominate, and destroy. Across the globe, nationalist movements responded differently depending on context. In Asia, leaders like Sun Yat-sen in China and Jawaharlal Nehru in India navigated colonial legacies while fostering ideas of national unity. Nationalism became a tool for liberation and modernization, showing its adaptability across continents and cultures. Before we continue, if you're fascinated by how nationalism shaped the most extreme and transformative moments of the 20th century, take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend, and comment which historical example of nationalism resonates with you most. Don't forget to subscribe to @Looking Back in Time for Episode 3, where we explore how globalization and modern challenges have revived nationalist movements in the 21st century. The interwar period also exposed the dangers of unchecked nationalism. Economic crises, mass unemployment, and political instability amplified xenophobic and exclusionary ideologies. Nationalism, when combined with charismatic leadership and propaganda, could mobilize entire populations toward conflict, conquest, and persecution. The lessons of these decades are stark. Without restraint and ethical guidance, nationalist sentiment can become a vehicle for extremism. Following World War II, Europe and much of the world faced the challenge of rebuilding. Nationalism did not disappear, it transformed. In Western Europe, countries sought cooperation through alliances and economic partnerships, laying the groundwork for the European Union. In Eastern Europe, Soviet influence redefined national identities under communist regimes. Globally, decolonization movements arose, demonstrating that nationalism could be both liberating and unifying. Studying interwar and postwar nationalism offers insight into the cycles of history. The movements that emerged during this period shaped borders, societies, and ideologies. They remind us that nationalism is neither inherently good nor bad. It is a force whose impact depends on context, leadership, and values. Ultimately, the interwar and postwar years teach a lesson that continues to resonate. Nationalism, like any powerful ideology, must be tempered by ethics, cooperation, and respect for diversity. Its extremes can lead to catastrophe, but its constructive application can rebuild nations and preserve identity. History in this period is a mirror to our present. The ideologies, successes, and failures of the early 20th century echo in today's political landscape. demonstrating that understanding the past is essential for navigating the future.